And welcome back, Oli. Thank you for being here and sharing some of your time with us all.
It's my absolute pleasure, Mike.
Yes. And it is what time exactly out there?
It's 5:20 in the afternoon in Spain, Central European time.
Well, it is morning time here, 8 a.m. And Oli, I'm not a morning person whatsoever, but when it is for you, I have no issue waking up early.
That's very kind of you. I'm so overloaded with work, so I really appreciate you making the time as well.
I really appreciate that, and so many of my listeners really respect you, and it's almost like they love you, Oli. That's how much they have so much respect for you and admiration. It's pretty amazing.
I'm blushing. No, but it's, do you know what it is? I know what it is.
What is it, Oli? Because people really do love you. I've noticed that there's a lot of things that you say that resonate with my listeners, and they just really appreciate you, Oli. It's pretty remarkable.
But I know exactly what it is, because it's not me as a person. It is I'm not religious, but before every single presentation or interview I've done like almost 1,000, but I have this little prayer before that. And I ask all my ancestors, the saints and sages, the angels, I ask them to get my ego out of the way and say the words that I needed the most out there for whoever is listening, to help to lift the world to the next level of compassion, understanding, forgiveness, all of these things, and do it the absolute best. Let this be the best interview ever. Let this be the one that made the tipping point go over. And then from then on, I just bungee jump. So I believe that it's if I manage to get my ego out of the way, then whatever comes out of this mouth comes from my heart to your heart. And I think that is what resonates with people. Had I come from hatred or anger or frustration, it wouldn't work the same way. So I'm just reminding people out there about what is true, I hope, because the truth is beautiful. And it's, I love the truth. I'm absolutely in love with it. It fears no investigation. It stands totally strong in whatever situation. If you have a conspiracy on the other hand, they fear you looking too close. They will fight you. They will kill you if you get too close. But the truth, not a problem whatsoever. It's like a silver surfer, just boom, like this.
Yes, even everything you just said right now just resonated with me, Oli. So there you go. Pretty incredible stuff.
There you go.
Love that. And Oli, in case people out there, in case this is the very first time that they actually hear you, Oli, I just wanted you to remind them what exactly it was for you that made you fully embrace the whole conspiracy angle, even though, we call it conspiracy, but we're finding out that it's much more of a conspiracy fact now.
It's just super criminals that are committing crimes. That's it. I'm just tracking down criminals. I'm exposing bullies and serial killers and assassins, and it doesn't matter if they're on a street level or government level or above that. I will do everything I can to expose them. Totally non-violent, but let the truth, the light of truth, just boom right at them, because no criminal can commit criminal acts in the light. It's like you always need deception. You always need to divert the attention away. You need to stay in the shadows behind curtains to pull the strings so that no people can understand what's actually going on. That's how crimes are committed. If you do it in total transparency, they are screwed. They cannot move. And it's so for me, it's just like trying to pull the curtain and make the fog lift. Just like at dawn, when you maybe before in the middle of the night you have a fog, and then the light starts coming and start heating up the fog, and then it starts becoming more and more transparent. I hope that I'm part of doing exactly that, so that people don't have to listen to the details maybe on my words, but are becoming aware that, whoa, hang on, something is changing here big time, and then they would be able to sort of in an awareness process, being part of this lifting of the veil, so to speak.
Well, this is it. I've got some things to run by you. Last time we spoke, we covered the biggest current conspiracy of our lifetimes. This is it, Oli. This is what we've been waiting for. Not only has this been a wake-up call for my country, it's been a wake-up call to everyone on this island Earth. I truly believe what happened was no accident, Oli. It seems like the last 7 months I've watched countless people break emotionally and physically.
It's, the thing is, the universe have tried to gently wake us up and say, hello, hello, hello. And then a slight little in the face, another one. Okay, very few people are reacting. Okay, sorry about this. The universe don't like to be violent, but here's a sledgehammer for you, and smack right in the forehead. It's because we've been so numb and so asleep and so not caring about each other, so much up our own butt, being swallowed up by our own desires and too much ego. And that thus these very criminal elements that indirectly are a blessing have managed to get in positions where they can totally mess around with us, because it's ridiculous. There are like a few thousand in total. I believe around 8,000. We are billions. It's an absolute joke that we're even in this situation. So indirectly, it is, we say, ooh, it's so scary. I agree. It's very scary at times, very unpleasant, and at the same time apparently needed, because now it's like almost like you put a pan on with some oil and then you chuck in some corn, they're rock hard and not flexible whatsoever. The corns, they are rock hard. Then you put some heat underneath and suddenly boom, 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 boom. The popcorn starts popping, and that is what's happening. And the beauty of that is that once a popped popcorn, like a popcorn, you can't put it back into the hard shell.
Right.
You can't fit it in there. So there's no way back. You swallow the pill, boom, that's it.
That's right. And for the past, go ahead, Oli.
No, this is where we are now. And I've been down this road 40 years, and it's been so lonely, I tell you. And now we're talking millions and millions and millions, almost on a daily basis, that are sort of like, hang on. This is bizarre. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Everything seems to be upside down. The things that I was told was good, it seems like it's bad. And the things that I was told was bad seems good. What is going on? This is exactly it. It is upside down. And it's just like, your eye has a lens. The light comes in through the lens and breaks up, so that actually the image that is on our retina is upside down. And then our brain, for our convenience, says, no, let's turn it around so that you can make sense of it. But actually, our brain is now having to adjust to what it actually sees. And so what is upside down is not upside down. It's just we have to change the interpretation of this image on our retina and in our understanding on the whole. It is upside down. The authorities that are there to officially protect us, absolutely not. They are the ones causing so much problems. The army that is there to protect us, sorry, more and more as a controlling element. The police, very sorry once again. Now they're there to control us, not to protect us. The politicians does not even go there. The vaccines that are there to save life, I don't think so. Once you start looking into what's actually going on, the people that are like, oh my God, such a hero, Bill Gates, let's give him a massive applaud. I say put him away forever and ever. It's upside down.
It is. It really is.
So it's just a matter of, okay, I don't understand this. People say to me all the time, I don't get it. Well, turn it upside down. Black is white, white is black. You are behind the mirror. What does it look like now? And suddenly things starts making sense. So it's quite simple.
I guess that phrase, don't believe your lying eyes, is true.
And don't believe your thoughts. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Our mind are so strong and so good at connecting dots in whatever way, so we can make sense of anything.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make it true. And this is also how these dark forces that are indirectly helping us to wake up or becoming aware is aware of these things, and they are manipulating us like a magician. So it's just a matter of learn how an illusionist works or a magician. Learn that when they do like this with their left hand, it's a diversion. When they say you can pick either of these fingers on my left hand, actually, they are already selected. It's not you that choose, and it's not the left hand, it's behind his back. So you just have to start seeing this as sort of like Is it David Copperfield or is it Donald Trump? Is it, David Blaine, or is it Putin, or is it a virus, or is it a magician, an act of a magician? Is the Wizard of Oz? Stop seeing it as like what you're being told. You're being told, oh my God, it's a pandemic. You are going to die. Everybody's going to die. There's going to be big piles of dead bodies outside your window if you don't put on that mask. I tell you, I can more or less swear to you that anywhere anyone is listening to this show, if they look out through the window, it will be beautiful, it will be calm, it will be in balance. You put on a screen, whatever size, if it's a laptop, a TV, a cell phone, it will tell you life is hell, life is dangerous, life is horrible. It is not. It is beautiful. Life is fantastic, and it should be worshipped. But there is this little, like a cancer growth that is trying to kill us. So I would say could be a good idea to wake up to the smell of the coffee and say, I see you over there. Do not mess with us. If you want to mess, if you want to depopulate the world, please, there's a window or a balcony over there. Jump over it. No, you will not be missed. Dear Mr. Gates or whoever of these individuals, please feel free. If you want one less person on this earth, be my guest.
Love that.
So let them.
Ole, I'm going to get dark here in a moment with you, but before we do, I got to ask you this, Ole. How have you been holding up yourself the past 7 months now with this whole pandemic? I know you have plenty of friends and family out there. I'm sure they're in their ear. I'm sure they're wondering. I'm sure they're asking you what the hell's going on in your opinion. But Ole, aside from that, how is your mental health currently right now?
You should ask my wife, not me.
How's the wife? Now that you mention her, she's okay.
It goes in ups and downs.
So she's kind of emotional over what's going on. A little bit. Okay.
No,
yes.
She is.
Rightfully so, though.
We live in Spain.
Yes, sir.
And here it's mandatory mask. You cannot go 1 meter outside the door you can be fined up to $3,000 for not having a mask on. You cannot go. We live right by the sea. There are so many rules. One of them is that you can be fined, once again, incredible amounts for peeing in the sea. What? For peeing in the sea? I kid you not. If you have a rusty, umbrella or parasol, if it's rusty, you can be fined. If you have a bicycle and there's rust on it, you can be fined. It's like, what? We've seen people being taken from the beach where they sat on their own, alone, and being brought by police into a bar where they're allowed to sit without a mask when they're not allowed on the beach. It's like, what? So you can paddle on the sea, that's fine, but if you fall into the water, they will fine you.
Wow.
You can run without a mask, but you can't walk without a mask. You cannot sit with it. So, we're up against a super intelligent virus.
Your restrictions are much more strict than ours. We're not going through the sort of restrictions that you guys are going through. We're completely undisciplined here in America. I'm not going to lie to you, Ole. I'm not going to blow smoke up your proverbial back end, I'm going to be completely blunt with you. We lack discipline in this country. As Americans, we really do.
It has nothing to do with discipline, Michael. There are different agendas for different countries.
Well, sure. But I meant some people are much more strict, like India and parts of like Australia. That reminded me just a few days ago, they grabbed some pregnant woman and they punched her on the beach.
Australia is getting really ugly, but I would say it's a very good idea to study Australia, what's going on there, because that is coming our way as well. It
is, yeah.
It is. And this is where,
it's happening in your country right now, actually. You guys are going to go cashless very soon, I just read.
No.
That's not happening.
You're mixing up the countries now. I was born in Denmark, grew up in Sweden. Sweden is more or less 100% cashless.
Yes, Sweden is.
Unbelievable. I went on tour in Sweden not so long ago. I wanted to go to the bank and just put some money in my account.
Right.
They said, we do not deal with cash anymore. You cannot go you have to alert them that you're coming with it. You can put it in one of these, it's not MOT, what is it, least cash machines. There's certain ones that you can put cash in and it will accept it. But if you go into the bank office, no, they don't take it. You can't get on a bus with coins and cash. You cannot. They will not accept it. I've seen beggars with a card reader. It's like, are you kidding me? It is bizarre. I tell you that, because the thing is, okay, it's very convenient. It's super convenient. You can do beep and bop and whatever. And with all the apps and stuff like that, not a problem. I mean, Sweden is high tech, so they love their gadgets. Not a problem. But the thing is, and I've been warning about this for 20, 30 years. Other people like David Icke has been, saying, please be aware of this whole thing. The danger with a cashless society. The thing is, once the cash is gone, then the one that controls the chip in your card or in your hand or on your forehead or wherever you have it is the one that can control your life. Because then it will be, Michael, listen, we do not really appreciate your program. So I don't think you will be allowed to go shopping anymore for a while until you reconsider. And then we will just activate your chip again. How do you feel about that? And that is the danger. And that is also where what we're looking at, what we're facing here is what is called the New World Order. That is in the background all the time. Then through operations like Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, which is what is being rolled out while we're speaking. These agendas are very, very heavily invested in a cashless society. So that is bad news. Bad news. So my tour organizer in Sweden, he goes under the name Johnny Cash because he pays cash everywhere. And if they insist, well, we don't take cash, well, I'm going somewhere else. Or he insists because it's against the law, as far as I know, still in Sweden to refuse cash money. So you can just, well, you better believe it. I'm here to stay. So take the cash. But it's very, very strange.
It is definitely.
But, so if we go to Spain, where I am now, because 20 years ago, it's more or less 20 years ago, I had two friends murdered in Sweden because we were digging too deep in around the assassination of the Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme. And I had a visit as well at home. Shit scary, I tell you that. Not nice people. So I thought, well, I've seen so many people become statistics, die young from being found drowned in the bathtub fully dressed or go for a swim in the middle of the night and never to be seen again. These type of things. So I felt this is not worth it. So my sweetheart, Kim, and she had two kids. We left very quickly and just took a car, went south. So we went from 4,000 kilometers south to the south of Spain we went to Mallorca. And started from absolute scratch. No money, no job, no language, no nothing. And then that's 20 years ago, and now we sort of build up a life here. But the reason I am here is because that assassination happened. And these forces are brutal. They are brutal, I tell you that. So at the same time, I feel blessed that I'm in one of the countries where they really go for it, because then I'm sort of like frontline observer.
That's right.
Frontline. So I can see what's going on here, and also see the reaction of people, how they're affected, how the media is being used. I mean, the propaganda in Spanish TV is unbelievable. I mean, it is nonstop. Corona. And when I mean, I've been interviewing some of the leading experts on viruses and other stuff in the world, and they all say to me, it is not real. Well, the virus exists. Yes, there's several different patents on it, which you cannot have on a natural thing. Patent is only granted on things that you or someone else have invented or put together in a unique way.
Right.
So these patents show you that we're looking at bioweapons. These are things that are spliced and sliced and whatever in laboratories with very, very advanced machines, that goes really down on a DNA level almost. Like that is where they are. And this is where this corona thing that has turned out to an absolute gold mine for super psychopaths like Bill Gates, the first patents came in 1999, I think. And then they found that this virus was fantastic because they could do all kinds of things to it and add stuff to it and thus turn it into a weapon, good and bad, and an absolute gold mine. Because if you are the ones that are in control of a pandemic, you're the one pumping it out, then you can make absolute billions on vaccines, test kits, masks, also all the restrictions, and get all kinds of grants from governments and countries and you name it. So I saw this interview with Bill Gates the other day where he was interviewed by a woman, and they were talking about investments. And so she said, okay, so if you compare, for instance, real estate and the vaccine industry, what is the best, or can you guide us here? And Gates says, well, vaccines, that is the best of them all. It's 1 to 20, 20 to 1. You invest 1, you get 20 back. And so you look at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, fake foundation, that would be almost. Yeah, anyway, so that foundation, their participation of Event 201 or Event 21, which was the actual name of it, the whole setup, the preparations, how every single step of the way was controlled by Bill Gates, including the funding of the World Health Organization, which is totally in his pocket now when Trump has backed off. The U.S. was the one. I mean, people think that the World Health Organization, these big, big things, that they are legit, that they are, oh, it's fantastic. All of these countries have come together. No, they just labeled it the World Health Organization. We think, well, then that means that the whole world is behind it. Nope. Very often it's private corporations that are backing and creating these organizations and thus then doing exactly what they want.
And that's what happens, Oli, when corporations become bigger than governments. That's when things get scary.
Yeah. And, these multinational corporations, they are scary. Scary, scary. Because also when you start seeing who are the key people, and you will see that it's almost like an octopus. The more you look into these type of corporations, you will see, oh my God, they're working together. That man, this woman is on the board. She's a board member there and there. And that guy there used to work for them, but then he got officially fired. And then he was given this incredibly luxurious career in that company that is, they work together like this. So when you look at the world today, it's quite easy because in the old days, it was spread out. It was spread out and very hard to grasp and grip who is behind it, who is doing this to us. I mean, when I started out, I had no idea that things were connected. And then over the years, oh my God, here we go again. There she is, and there, and there, and there, and there, and that guy there as well. Again. It's
like political parties, right, Oli? Everyone has given each other money at some point or another, both Democrats and Republicans. We see them as both being against each other, but if you look closely, you'll find out that they actually have given each other money so many times in the past. It's kind of hysterical. At least it is to me, because I could see right through the BS.
Do you like American wrestling?
Yes, sir. But I see it as the same thing as politics. It's a pageant. It's all choreographed.
They go through it together before. Okay, so listen here, Mr. Hulk. Who do you think should win? Me, you?
That's right.
No, let's see. The sponsor says that it would be better with you, because of the financing or whatever. Okay, so we say now you would be the winner. So it's all arranged beforehand. It's all staged.
Predetermined,
and then there
right?
would be a lot of screaming and a lot of smacking and slashing and boom and a bit of blood to make it real. Is it real? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And have I studied politics ever? Only
That's
while
right.
I've been asleep. Because once you start understanding how it's set up, and it's the same in more or less every single country that I've seen where it's not a dictatorship, you've got it's like put up your hand. You got one party to the left, one party to the right. You can call it Republicans and Democrats. You can call it left and right. You can whatever. They've all got fancy names, but that's the general idea. Then you got one in the middle, the center party, or this. You got 2, 3, 4 smaller ones in the middle. So, and then the two big ones are to the sides. And then they say, which one would you like to choose? Well, since I know this and my experience says this, social democrats, I take the left one. Well, good for you. Well, I'm more like, I'm more moderate in my views, so I will go for the moderate party, or I will go for the center party, or, yeah, great. The only problem is here that all the fingers on the hand, the fingers that you're choosing between, they all belong to me.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter to me what you choose. It's an illusion of choice, just like on a stage with a magician. Which card do you want to choose? He has already selected it. Whatever you choose, it's part of the plan. He's already chosen the one for you. So it's the same here. And then people say, but it's so strange because nothing changes. I wonder why.
That's right.
Because it's rigged. It is rigged. And maybe not that all the politicians are part of it. I don't say that. On a lower level, absolutely not. There's a lot of good people with good intentions on a lower level, but to get up to the higher levels where you can really start making a difference, you will be grabbed by the balls and controlled. Otherwise, you will not be allowed up in the ring at that level. That is it. Except possibly, dear Mr. Trump, because he was so loaded before. I don't know. I have no idea who this Trump is. People keep asking me. For me, I don't want to say either boo or bear. What I can say is that he feels a lot like a diversion to me. Like, look over here. Like, it's the same with all kind of military operation, black op or magician. Diversion is the name of the key. Just before you do something, boom, something over there to the left.
I don't trust any of them, Ole.
No, God, no, I don't either.
I don't.
But people
Ole.
say Trump is different. I hope so. If it would be fantastic, or it will be fantastic if he is what he says he is. But until the day that I see that happen, I know they talk about, well, there are all of these mass arrests. Okay, great. I have not seen any. I haven't seen one. I've seen long lists of names that I don't know if they even exist. I have not seen anything. No, but now they're doing. I have not seen anything. If he was who he says he is, I mean, in that case, he lives very dangerously, because then he's up against real evil. So he must step carefully to be able to survive and continue on his quest, if he is who he is. But I would say, why on earth are there still top secret documents around the JFK assassination? Why are they not just released? If he stands for the truth, just release it. Boom. There's nothing officially to hide. Well, there is big time, because the same power structure that
yes.
is in place now killed Kennedy and carried out 9/11 together with Israel, Saudi, and so on. These forces, they don't want this to come out there. But there would be, if a true president stepped forward and said, I am going to drain the swamp, that would be one of the things that would just say, wow, this is a guy, he is on. He is really on, but that is not what we've seen. We've been thrown a little piece of cake here and there, a little bone, okay, here's 2,000 more documents, heavily censored. Here's a little there. Also, why is he not, I'm not going to go there.
I understand.
I know too little about him.
Yeah. Well, he promised a lot of things, especially with 9/11 very early on, and we have not seen any follow-up with any of those sort of things he mentioned, especially with JFK. He did mention that, and either he got stonewalled or he never really had any intentions of actually doing any of these things. One or the other. We don't know, right?
Well, what can I say? It's like...
Wait, by the way, Ole, you're religious though, right, Ole?
They lie. Sorry?
You're a religious man, right, Ole?
Nope.
You're not religious at all?
Nope.
Well, I'm an atheist myself. However, I'm open-minded and I have friends that are religious, and I talked to one Christian who's very, very religious, and he's always bringing up Revelations to me. He's talking about the end times, and just recently he brought up Donald Trump. And in Revelation, in one of the passages there, he tells me that a peace treaty will be taking place, and that's kind of what happened with Donald Trump. And with doing so, with signing that treaty with Israel, destruction will follow. That's what it says in the book, according to my friend as well. And I've seen the passage, and it is true. It is in the Bible, but I'm not I'm an open-minded atheist, but that's what he claims. But it is interesting to see that certain people have this certain interpretation of these events that are taking place right now in our current times. And it is leading them to believe that we are in the end of days, as they say, Oli.
Mm.
Do you think that's interesting at all, or do you not have any?
For sure. Mm-hmm. But the question is, what I find interesting, either they use the Bible as a manual, and they follow the steps.
Yes.
Or they were predicting it 2,000 years ago. That is, you have to ask yourself that, is it possible that they see, that's the plan, let's do it? Because when you start digging deep in this thing, I need to make things pretty simple for myself. So instead of seeing what is actually at the top of the pyramid, and by the way, the pyramid should be upside down. I mean, the top of the pyramid, in their pyramid, the power pyramid they are the lowest of the low of the low of the low. The bottom of the pyramid, that is actually where the top is. But I totally lost what I was going to say.
You're talking about hierarchy, in other words. This sort of power struggle that we have here.
You were talking about the Bible.
Oh, yes, the Bible, that too.
Yeah. And so with religion, I mean, the Revelation, the book of Revelations, I mean, it's very interesting for sure. And I have no idea if it's true or not. At the same time, I'm not like, that is the truth. And then it's set in stone. I mean, the Bible was written like several hundred years after Jesus even was on this earth, officially died. And then they gathered a group of people way later. Like, I think the first thing they started writing it down like 40 years after his death. And so you have all of these people. Okay, so can you please tell me, what did he say? Well, as far as I remember, let me see here, it was like 40 years ago, but I think it was something about fish and wine, from water to wine. No, let me see here. Yeah, but I'm sure I saw him walk on water. Okay, it could be very accurate, but I used to work as a reporter, and sometimes we were like 3 different newspapers in the same city. We went to the same things, the same event, and sometimes when I compared what we had written about this event, it was like, were we even at the same place? So the only thing I'm saying about things like that in scriptures is like, you cannot start arguing about one word, the meaning, this or that, or nuances and stuff. This was way, way later than he even lived. If he lived when
I
the
agree.
way we were told. So,
yeah.
So I think when you look at Jesus, I think, oh my God, that is a beautiful human being. Fantastic guy. I also see him as an absolute super hacker, because I think he cracked the code of the universe. And that the code I'm talking about is that if you're in a laboratory and you have a very high frequency and a low frequency, like love is the highest frequency in the universe, they say, higher than the frequency of thought. And now we're not talking about love, I want you, baby. I'm talking about love as a power, as a true power. And then you got evil, pure terror, absolute evil is the lowest of the low. So you got like a high and a low frequency.
By the way, Oli, do you think love and hate come from the same place? In terms that both love and hate both spark passion. You don't think they both come from the same place at all? Slightly, since they both cause pain and emotion, and both of these emotions that they have, you don't think they come from the same sort of place, Oli, at all?
I think they're absolute opposites. And I think that very often what is called evil is the lack of love. I know I was in Iran during the war, Iran-Iraq war, and there was this soldier that came up to me and pushed me up against the wall and was checking my passport. When I looked in his eyes, I felt, oh my God, I had never seen anything like that. It was just, his eyes were just black. They were dead. I mean, this individual was so damaged from horror things that he had gone through, I'm sure. There was no light in him. And I spoke to Chip Tatum, a CIA whistleblower who used to be the commander of George Bush Sr.'s private hit team Pegasus. And he has been really deep in, I mean, he was part of assassinating at least 14 people, ordered by George Bush Sr. and many, many other types. He was the pilot for Nixon and all the way up to George Bush Sr. He's been flying around with Kissinger and all of these guys. But I asked him, because he has been living his whole adult life among assassins. And so I asked him, are there like different types of assassins and so on? Yeah, he said there are 3 types. He said there's the first ones are often very young. They're patriots. They believe in freedom and democracy. He says that wears off very quickly, because you very soon see that you are just a weapon, like enforcer of the elite's will, other people's desires. They don't give a crap about you.
Of course
but
not.
They want you to do. I mean, they're enforcers. They're like brutal killers and enforcers. That's what they're used to. Then the second type are people that know that it's wrong to do it, but they're too caught up in big money and drugs and women and cars, and they're just like. And then the third group that he said are one of the ones he called deadites, and he said they're just dead. I think that was one of these individuals that I met. He said they're damaged beyond repair, beyond help, and they are capable of doing the most horrific things. They have no empathy, nothing. They are super cruel, and they will just do whatever, tear someone in pieces.
That's kind of the example I was sort of searching for when I mentioned that love and hate come from the same place, because they both ignite this deep compassion, and another part, it ignites a lot of pain. So it's a love and hate sort of emotion.
Sorry.
I'm
sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. I'm just saying that these sort of emotions, you definitely will feel. For example, this guy, he was passionate about his job, but he also hates it at the same time. That's why I say these emotions, they come from the same place.
But I think it's very important to be clear what you mean with different words.
That's right.
If you say in love, then I totally agree with you. Then we're getting closer, because to fall in love or be in love with someone has nothing to do with the real love. It's like a high on
like a drug.
Kind of drug.
Yeah.
And that activates all of these emotions like jealousy and anger and frustration and despair and all these two, but that's not love. Love is way beyond that. So what I think, when you see what happens in a laboratory, when you have a high frequency and a low frequency, you let them meet, the lower one just gets annulled. It just disappears, like if you switch on the light in a dark room. Boom, it's over just by meeting a higher frequency. And that's where I think that Jesus was a super hacker, because what he said was, if that is the case, then whatever the problem is, just meet it with a higher frequency and it will dissolve it. It will annul it. And while you're at it, why not make it easy for yourself? Choose love every time. Go for the highest. Whatever the problem is, go for the highest. And it will sort it out. Easy? No. Important or impossible? Absolutely not. It's super possible and sometimes very difficult to choose love. But that's what I have that as my motto. Always. The answer to whatever it is always love. Not in love, not passion, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about raising the frequency up, 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 up. And that is also what the dark forces do not want you to know. That's why they need us in fear mode all the time, because when we're fearful, we're very low in frequency, and they who are down there on a low level, that's where they can control us.
That's right.
But if you raise above that, they can't grasp onto you. So this is why, I don't have any security at all, like protection. My address is on my website. If somebody, I'm here in Estepona, near Carrefour. If somebody wants to come and pop me, I'm here. Why am I so open with it? Because I refuse to live in fear. I refuse. I've been fearful for years. It's a horrible feeling.
Right.
It eats you up from the inside. I hate it. And paranoid, oof. Let's not even go there.
Yeah, that's not the way to live your life. Being, looking over your shoulder.
I heard an MI6 agent once say that word paranoid has been hijacked by these dark forces. Because paranoid, according to him, actually means to connect dots that other people cannot see are connected. So in that case, I'm a very proud paranoid person.
I think we all are to a certain extent, but I would say it's much more of us being cautious rather, in my opinion. And by the way, going back to Bill and Melinda Gates for a moment here, that's another great example of when corporations become bigger than government. Both Bill and Melinda, they're not licensed practitioners in medicine at all. Bill Gates doesn't even have a college degree, by the way, and Melinda has a degree in computer science and economics.
Do you know Microsoft? Okay. If this was any other type of company that every time they make an update, it gets worse, would you not fire or would you not find someone else in that case? Here, Windows get worse and worse. Every single update is like, oh my God. Then they buy up Skype. It gets worse. You start having all kinds of problems. It gets worse and worse. And also an interesting thing is like viruses, computer viruses. Mac has more or less, as far as I know, more or less zero. The PC world with Windows, it's in the millions.
It's littered.
Okay. Yeah. So how is that possible? Well, maybe because if you start speaking to hackers and other people that are working for these spyware and Trojan horses, anti-spyware kind of crap programs that are really needed, it seems like they are partly part of creating the viruses so that they can sell it to us. Problem, reaction, solution. And so from that business comes this guy who are a super geek. I mean, I have nothing against him personally until he started messing around with the rest of us.
That's right.
But just like you say, who are you, dear Mr. Bill Gates? Where did you come from? So we start checking him out a little bit, like senior Bill Gates. He was very much into Planned Parenthood, which is very, almost like the Nazi philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, Jeffrey Epstein was into eugenics, and who was his good friend? Oh, Bill Gates, also into eugenics.
And eugenics, when you look at it, is not very nice because
it's not at all.
Like, all of you who are not absolutely perfect, we're going to get rid of you.
We're going to get rid of
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got too far between your eyes or your ears are too big. Well, sorry, you're out. Boom. I mean, that is a very cold and brutal way of looking upon nature, I would say. Nature that thrives on diversity and that is made so that we can handle all kinds of climates and nature types and stuff like there's a reason why some of us have dark skin because closer to the sun. Some of us up in the north, blue eyes, and very light colored skin because it's freezing cold up there. We need that. It's like, why are your nostrils bigger? Because hot air. Why are they closer? Because the air is colder up where we come. The nature is beautiful. When you look at nature, I tell you, whatever problem in the world almost is like, how did nature solve it? Look, how do nature solve it? If you have problem with droughts, study the nostrils of a camel that can absorb humidity in the middle of a desert. I mean, that is pure genius. It's on a level that is divine. If there's anything that makes me believe in a God, whatever it is that has created this matrix or world or whatever it is, oh my God, it's magnificent. It is beyond words. The same with our immune system. My God, I'm blown away. And then in comes man and messes it up.
That's right.
So for us, it's a matter of, how are we going to get out of here? How did we get here? And then just go back and see when was the world in balance and then take it from there. Bring it back into balance. Balance, harmony, and sustainability. Sustainability means that you only use what you need and that it will, when you leave a place, it will come back. For instance, you eat an apple, you throw the middle part, I don't know what that is called, with the seed, boom. The next year, a new tree comes up. so generous, giving fruits to anyone who would like it. Doesn't matter who you are, nature just gives and gives and gives and gives. But here we have this group that is all the time trying to control and dominate and make billions. I don't even know what they want all of this money from, because I don't get it. I so don't get it.
I'm with you on that one, Oli. And of course, we are almost running out of time here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So we'll bring the conversation full circle here and wrap it up. So for the past 7 months, I've talked about these strange similarities between 9/11 and this current pandemic. Many lives have been lost during this time. Of course, it's overtaken and overshadowed the Spanish flu, 9/11, Pearl Harbor. More deaths now have been accounted for, whether we believe the numbers or not. The outcome of this virus, if you don't believe it's real or not, the outcome is very damn real. And every single time we had prior knowledge before any of these things happened, yet my government seemed to have allowed it to happen. That's sort of the strange similarity that I see with the virus and 9/11. I'm just sort of tired of my country lying. I'm tired of so many people who are completely blind, Oli. And I consider some of these people to be a danger to themselves and to others. I hear people echoing this sort of propaganda nonstop. You see, Oli, I am a free spirit. I am a true American. That means I don't support any group. I don't belong to any group. I don't belong to any religious group. I don't support tyrannical governments. And I feel like lots of people have lost their ways. My government is broken. And I'm not afraid to admit that to you, Oli. I'm not the only one who sees it that way. And my goodness, these are dangerous times, Oli, and I fear the worst is yet to come. And I hate to do the whole fear thing, but this is only the beginning. What we are seeing taking place right before our very own eyes, Oli. I think this is just the start.
Well, I so hope that you're totally wrong.
I hope so too.
Yeah, because in that case, not fun at all. Not fun at all. Because, no, then we're getting into very scary areas. The thing is that, for instance, since the 1990s, I've been aware of that this would be coming, similar things like not this, the whole mask thing. That
not exactly,
totally,
but similar.
Totally very similar. They've been trying to do this for a long time in different chapters, different operations. All the ones that you mentioned here were operations like the Spanish flu, absolutely not a nature's pandemic.
It was no accident.
No
accident.
No. They were these poor soldiers. It had nothing to do with Spain. It was American soldiers being injected and then sent abroad. And then this created this absolute mayhem, killing, I think, 50 million people. And then now, years later, they dug up the bodies to retrieve the viruses so that they could get even more crap out of it. Bizarre.
My country has a long history, though, of going into other countries and infecting them with diseases, and that which we claim are just man-made, and these accidental releases, just like the SARS virus, like MERS, like the Zika virus, like anthrax. All of these things have been accidentally released, by the way, Oli. I can't just sit here and think for a moment that that's the truth, because that's BS. And furthermore, I see Sweden, again, is following in the footsteps of China, which is what my country is going to do very soon. As we mentioned earlier, they are switching to a cashless society, and that is the introduction to smart cities, coming to your area as well, Oli. The whole facial recognition thing is coming. But don't worry, Oli. You'll never have to bring your wallet again.
No, well, I tell you, it's wonderful because it's also backfiring right in their face. I love it. They staged so many alleged mass shootings. I've exposed, I don't know how many of them as
countless
operations.
Right.
I don't even know if there's one real school shooting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's at that
What
level.
about Columbine? Was that what about Columbine from back in 1999?
Columbine is the only real one where I really got a question mark around that.
Oh.
So that is possible, Columbine. But I lost the track again. What's up with me? But the mass shootings have been staged to make the weapons out of problem. It's problem, reaction, solution. It's the same way one they always use. Problem, reaction, solution. Mass shootings. Oh my God, young kids shot, emotional. We need to do something. And the solution is get rid of the guns. So they try to get the arms away from the American people. And now with the corona, suddenly it was working for a while there, but with the corona, as far as I've been informed, US is more armed than ever. So that backfired right in their face. Then you had this push into smart cities. That's the whole Agenda 21 idea of how to control it. That's why 5G is being rolled out big time. That's why Corona is also where we're being locked down so they can roll out 5G and activate the whole smart city system, the grid, the smart grid. And by the way, smart cities, smart TVs, smartphones, it's spelled wrong. It should be spelled EVIL. That's the correct spelling of these devices. But here we see again, suddenly people from the East Coast and the West Coast are leaving these big cities and going out into the countryside, trying to start own communities, starting to get off grid, trying to grow their own food, to take care of each other, to start small communities to care about. That whole thing is backfiring as well. Blowback major. So wonderful. I say wonderful. Facial recognition. That's the whole point of social distancing. Has nothing to do with the virus. It's for them to fine tune the facial recognition software from satellites and other kind of craft installations. So that as well is backfiring in countries like, for instance, Spain, because it's mandatory with masks, meaning 100% have masks except myself, my sweetheart, and my daughter. That's it. And Vanessa, who works for us. Otherwise than that, 100% are wearing masks. And you will be fined heavily if they find you without a mask. But here we have with a face mask, the system won't work. And now many people also, because I live in a sunny part of the world, people have sunglasses on as well. So you got facial masks or diapers and sunglasses. The facial recognition, it's just messed up. It doesn't work. Once again, blowback. I love it. And that's when we were talking about God before. I say God has got a sense of humor because it's like, how can they get away with it? They cannot. It keeps messing up for them.
Right. It certainly does.
I am super optimistic, I tell you, but I've always been that. It's like every year I say, this is going to be the year. And my daughter is like, but Dad, you've said that for the last 10 years. That is true. But I tell you, I mean, if you're looking for depressing individuals with a negative attitude, sorry, you come to the wrong place. I am super optimistic. And I tell you, there's this blessing in disguise. Like, Michael, you and I would never have met had it not been for these assholes who are doing this to us.
Very true.
The people listening are also being drawn into their real tribe, the real family, not family, biological family. So many people are going through extreme hardships with their close ones. And I always advise people, when you start becoming aware of these things, avoid talking to your close friends, your spouses, and your family. This is only if you're a masochist, I can advise that. Because if you like pain, go for it. But if not, it will just produce horrible pain and heartache. You have to find like-minded where you can share these type of thoughts and help each other and so on. So this is why these programs and a platform like you have created here are so, so important, because it's a possible way for people to connect and understand what's going on and help each other and so on. So,
yeah, well, these are dark times, Oli, and for sure we have to be optimistic no matter what. And, I even though I said, I fear for the worst, that doesn't mean I'm not optimistic, though. I still have some hope. Mm-hmm. And that's really the best way you can be, to carry some hope and optimism with you. And speaking of Vanessa, is she doing okay out there as well?
Do you know Vanessa? Yeah, maybe you went.
Well, she emailed.
Is.
Yeah.
She is.
She's okay.
She is indeed. But
good.
She is also, I'll tell you the truth, Michael. The thing is, we're talking about optimism, fear, and so on. I'm like 97% optimistic and 3% shit scared, because if this goes wrong, I know what they're trying to accomplish. I've known that for many years, and that is not pretty. I can tell you that. It's going to be, I can't even go there. If you study Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, it is like a hellish nightmare be on steroids. It is so horrible. And more than 193 countries or something have signed that absolute plan of madness created by Gro Harlem Brundtland, the former Prime Minister of Norway, and Maurice Strong, who's backing some of the major criminals in the US. I mean, it's super scary. They want to take over everything, including your children, the air you breathe, the food you eat, where you live, everything. You will not be allowed to own anything or do anything that is out of their control. It is bad, 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 bad.
That's right.
So we are actually at a point, I'll tell you, don't tell anyone, Michael, but we are actually in the process of escaping from Spain at the moment. I'll be leaving here within the next few weeks.
That's probably a good thing.
Because there's a window opening, because it's getting worse and worse here. Now you can hardly go anywhere before they aim this what do you call it? Like
the temperature thing? Yeah.
Yeah, they point it at your forehead like a gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is it? And I totally refused, when they aim it at the head. I said, absolutely no way. And they said, no, I don't have to do it to your forehead. I can do it to the back of your head. But what is in between the forehead and the back of the head? The brain.
The brain.
The pineal gland. These things
the pineal
are right
gland,
in there.
That's right.
And the test they are doing with shoving up stuff, really up your nose so it starts bleeding. I mean, people have, with these horrible PCR tests that are so unreliable that it's ridiculous. I mean, the whole thing is just bizarre.
It really is.
But I lost the track once again.
That's okay, Oli.
I'll do a Stevie Wonder here. I don't know what's the matter with me today, but
well, Oli, it's one of those things. I mean,
there's a lot
going on. You're overwhelmed with everything that's happening, and rightfully so. You're going to be moving away from Spain, outside of the country, hopefully some island somewhere. Hopefully not where Jeffrey Epstein stayed, but an island far away, somewhere safe. And Oli, I have lots of respect for you. You have been an investigator for over 35 years. You've been researching all these things. You have a huge audience and following, and my goodness, you've spoke all over the world mostly, and of course, a former journalist and musician. I mean, Oli, you've lived a pretty remarkable life, and I appreciate that. I find you to be very admirable, Oli.
Like they say, it takes one to know one.
Love that. So, Oli, once again, I do want to thank you so much for being a part of the program. It's always nice to have you here, and we will do this again down the road, my friend.
Can I please finish with a prayer?
Yes, sir. Do whatever you like.
Okay. Because I don't want to, if I have scared anyone in any way or form, that is a total failure on my part. Because fear is their weapon against us, and it's the only weapon they have against us. So the more fearless we become, the more you fill yourself with gratitude to raise your frequency, the safer you are. So the real battle for anyone who don't know what to do is in between their eyes, their ears. It's in your mind. That's where, and the beauty of fear is that it's only in your mind. Fear is not in the corner over there or behind the chair over there. It's in your mind. Okay. And it's always connected to something that has not yet happened. So it's in the future, meaning it's an illusion. So what good does it do to you? Many people are being controlled by their fears. And when you look at it, it's an absolute joke. It's an illusion, and it's a fear of something that might not even happen. So I say, if you don't know what else to do, find ways to let go of fear. That will also free yourself as an individual. But the only way to do that is to face them. I hate it. But the more you face your fears, it is shit scary. That's the door to liberation. Face your fears, and boom, there will be a gift on the other side of the door. And that will then help you expand your life and also make you more and more safe, less vulnerable. So I have this prayer, and it goes like this. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. That's the entire, every single square millimeter or centimeter or square inch, whatever it is, be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May everyone, and especially the ones who hurt us, be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May the light of truth overcome all darkness. So victory to that light.
Very nice. Now I feel better.
The thing is, we should indirectly thank these assholes who are forcing us into this situation. When you look at it from a spiritual point of view, these, whatever they are, take on a lot of heavy bad karma to do awful stuff to wake us up. Had it not been for them, we would not be in this situation where this awakening or awareness process is happening. Had they just not been there, we would have continued and totally destroyed this world out of our own greed and desires, Now we got locked down, which is actually a prison term, has nothing to do with disease or quarantine or anything, locked down. And suddenly Mother Earth gets a chance to breathe and the sea is starting to thrive again very fast. Nature is amazing. It just boom, like this.
And a reminder
we're
that
on the right track. We're on the right track. We just need to transcend this minor bump in the road called the New World Order, and then it's time for a cold beer and kickback.
That's right. This is a reminder that the Earth does not need humans. The Earth will always thrive without us. That's just the truth.
Yep.
And sometimes we are better at destruction than we are at creation, Oli. That's the
come on.
That's
what's
the old
going
philosophy
on with us? It's like we should worship this beautiful place we're living. I mean, we should be in awe on a daily basis. And
we've lost our way, Oli. We've lost our way as humanity, I would have to say. As human beings, we've gone so far down south, we've lost track. We've gone off track, I should say, from what's important.
But we're finding our ways pretty quickly now with a flamethrower up our butt.
But we got you, Oli. We're following the light.
I tell you, people have said you should become a leader. I said, if I become a leader, fire my butt right away. But because I mean, no. But I hope that I might inspire people to live by example, that I live by example.
Yes,
and
sir.
that I can inspire people to walk their way, whatever that way is, but to free themselves, to become the fullest of themselves that they can, the fullest version of themselves, to excel and impress yourself. That if I can inspire that, then I'm happy.
You've done your job. Once again, Oli, I do want to thank you tremendously for being a part of the program. Always a honor and pleasure to have you here. Oli, we will do it again next time, my friend.
We will. And next time we do it, I will not be here. I will be on some other hidden location.
On a private beach.
Who knows?
Love that. All right, Oli. Well, take care of yourself and